Hi yogis, and welcome to another Yin Yoga class with Matt. Today we have a beautiful sequence routine that we're going to emphasize on the hips, the lower back, and the spine. So today's practice theme is going to be about being in the moment. So I want to thank you to take this special time to join us on this little routine that we're going to do today. And our intention is going to be to let go. So as we get deeper and deeper into the poses, I want you to let go of stress, anger, anxiety, anything negative that you're holding onto at this very moment in your life. So before we get into it, I just would like you to, I would like to ask you if you have any injuries or any concern or anything specific that would prevent you from doing this class at the moment. You're okay? All right. So for today's class, we're going to need blocks, perhaps. I have two, so one for each one of us. That's going to help us with our poses. And before we start with the routine, we're going to take a 10-minute meditation. So for this meditation, we're going to use the Dhyana mudra. So the Dhyana mudra is a hand position that we're going to do. And you're going to put your left hand on top of the right one, or the right one on top of the left, and you're going to touch your thumbs together. And this is a mudra that's known to enhance concentration, so it's very good when you meditate. And as I said, throughout the meditation process, I want you to really relax, let go, and thank yourself for doing this class and being in the moment with us. And as we do this meditation, we're going to do the Ujjayi breath. So the Ujjayi breath is a breathing technique that's really good to warm up your body and just to enhance heat throughout your body. So the way it works is you inhale, and as you exhale, you constrict the back of your throat and you make a sound. So this is what we're going to do for the next 10 minutes. Let's close our eyes. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. another 3 breaths, and you can open your eyes. All right, well, before we start this routine, there's a nice quote I found that I thought was really good for this class. And what it says is that you can't always control what goes on the outside, but you can always control what goes on inside. And that's something that you can take with you today and remind yourself when you go through life. So today's routine, we're going to do a couple of asanas, which are the yoga positions, and we're going to hold them for about 5 minutes each. So we're going to take 1 minute to get into the position slowly and 1 minute to get out. Then we'll hold the position for 3 minutes. Now, it's very important that you find your edge and you don't push yourself too far into the asana. Now, use gravity to help you and don't strain or force yourself. It's normal to experience a slight discomfort because you're stretching, but make sure it doesn't relate to any type of pain. And if at any point in time you're really uncomfortable, it's okay to walk out of the position slowly and stop and wait for the next position. So before we start, we're going to do a little warm-up. So we're going to get on our hands and knees, and we're going to go into child pose. So just bring your buttocks backward towards your heel, and you can walk your hand forward as you bring your forehead closer to the ground. If you can go all the way down and touch it, that's fine. And if not, you can use a block and put it under your forehead to keep a higher position. So we're just going to stretch a bit before we get into the routine. You can come back on all fours. And we're gonna do a bit of cat and cow. So as you inhale, I want you to curve your spine upward and look up. Exhale, round your spine. Push the back of it upwards. Come back to neutral, inhale. Curve upward. Exhale, curve back in. You can come back to neutral position. You're going to get on the ball of your foot. And pushing through your hands and shoulders, we're going to lift our legs up and back. Now it's okay if your heels don't touch the ground. You can even have a slight bend in your knees. You should feel a nice stretch throughout the spine and especially the back of your legs. You can push through your hands and shoulders as you try to bring your hips up and back. This is downward facing dog. You can come back to your knees. And I'd like you to take the seated position. We're going to start with our first position, and it's the butterfly pose. So bring the sole of your feet together in front of you. You can either leave them out or closer to your groin if you want to work your inner groin and inner thighs. And if you keep it further out, it's gonna work the outside of your glutes and hips. So what you can do is you can grab the flesh of your buttocks and open it a bit. And we're gonna walk our hands slowly forward and fold forward. So make sure to let gravity work for you. And as you breathe in and out deeper and deeper, let go of stress and tension throughout your body. If this is strenuous for you, there's a modified version when you use the block and you put it right underneath each knees. Has to be more comfortable into the position, so I'll leave that to you. I'm not going to use it.
Now for the last minute, we're going to slowly walk our hands backward and get out of the position very slowly. Really take your time here.
All right, taking your feet straight in front of you. Our next position is going to be the caterpillar position. So for this one, sit upright in a comfortable position, and we're going to walk our hands slowly in front of us and fold forward. You should feel a big stretch behind your knees, and it's okay to bend your knees a little if you're not that flexible. Just take your time. Remember to breathe and to use your breath and your exhale to let go of the tight tension in your muscle, your joints, your fascia. And now for the last minute of the position, once again, start walking your hands
slowly backward and bringing your spine upward back to the neutral position. All right, for our next position, we're gonna walk our legs backward and get on our knees. We're gonna get into child's pose. So using your big toes to touch each other behind you, you're gonna spread your knees sideways, as comfortable as you can be. You're gonna bring your buttock backwards onto your heels, and we're gonna slowly walk our hands forwards to fall all the way down. You should feel a nice stretch inside your groin area. And if you're not able to go all the way down, you can always use a block and either use the highest position to put your forehead on it, the second position to hold it while you fold forward. So this is an option if you aren't that flexible. If you want to work our inner groin even more, you can bring your knees a little further out for a more challenging position. you can start walking your hands backwards and lift up very slowly. You can bring your knees inside one at a time. Now from this position, we're going to go on all fours. And we're going to set ourselves up for the dragon pose. So for the dragon pose, we're going to start with the left leg. So you're going to bring the left leg forward inside your left hand by your wrist. And if you want, you can use a block for this one. I will, that I'm going to put in front of me. And it's almost like you're doing a deep lunge. So you got to keep your leg in line with your shoulder and your hip. And as we set ourselves up, we can push our hips forward and down and look up with a neutral head. It's important to keep the right leg back and as straight as you can with the top of your right leg on the floor. Right foot, sorry. And as you get more comfortable, you can get lower to the ground by putting your hands directly on your mat or even your forearms, if you can go that low. Now you can start getting out of it slowly. Bringing your left foot back and getting on all fours. You can take this time to stretch your right leg. You can do little circles, do whatever feels comfortable to get the blood going in that hip again. All right, and now we're going to set ourselves up for the other position. So we're going to take our right leg and step it up beside our right hand. Once again, you can grab the block like myself to support yourself. And slowly, we're going to move our hips forward and down. Once again, feel free to bring your forearms to the ground if you can. And if that's too tight or too uncomfortable, just go back to your regular position. All depends on your flexibility level, and it will increase with time. So we can start walking out of the position slowly. Really take your time here, as this puts a lot of stress on your hips. So again, do what feels comfortable, stretch it out, move around. All right, our next position is the sleeping swan. So we're gonna take our left knee and bring it right behind our left wrist. And then you can take your left foot with your right hand, and we gotta bring it perpendicular to the front of your mat. So this should do a good stretch on the outside of your hip. Now once again, you can use a block to hold yourself up and go lower as you get more flexible throughout the position as time goes on. This is our most challenging position of the sequence. If you want to increase your comfort, you can take the block and put it behind your left hip and rest on it. This way you can use gravity to really do the work for you and offer you a bit of support and stability with the block. If you had a block like me under your hip, you can move it aside, and we're slowly gonna walk out of the position. Take your time. You can help yourself with your right hand to bring your knee back into place. Once again, move around, stretch out a bit, and we're gonna set ourselves up for the other leg. All right, so bringing your right knee behind the right hand, we're gonna set up our legs perpendicular to the front. Like I said, you can use a block to support yourself in the beginning, like me. Or you can put the block behind your right hip if you want to be more comfortable. It's totally normal if you have one side that's tighter than the other. Don't worry about it. And we can slowly come out of it. If you had a block, once again, you can put it aside. And really take your time to walk slowly out of it. You can let your right leg slide behind you slowly. Back into all fours. Stretch it out again. Now for our next position, we're gonna go on our stomachs. We're gonna do the sphinx pose. This is a good position for your spine, especially your low back. So keeping your elbows right underneath your shoulders. You're gonna lift your head up, but keep it neutral. Just push through your forearms and try to retract your shoulder blades backwards and down. You should feel a nice stretch in your low back, but not a pinch. If it pinches or if it hurts, there's a modified version when you can just bring your hands a little forward and do the same thing but with less of an angle in your spine. So that will take the stress out of it. For myself, I'm gonna stick with the regular one. Now you can slowly start going back down very gently. You can bring your hands by your shoulders. And you can push yourself back up on all fours. And we're just going to take a little child pose just to stretch out our spine in the opposite direction to release the tension. All right, we're gonna come onto our backs for one of my favorite position, the banana pose. So for the banana pose, what you're gonna do is that you're gonna lift your lips straight up and a little bit to the right, and you're gonna walk your legs slowly to the left. And then bring your hands over your head. You can grab your elbows and you're gonna walk your upper body to the left as well as to form a banana shape. And you should feel a nice stretch on your right side. So just relax here. We're gonna hold it for 3 minutes and then do the other side. There's a modified version if you want even more of a stretch on your IT band and a deeper stretch on your right side. You can take your right leg and cross it over the left for a deeper stretch. Now, if you're grabbing your elbow over your head, you can slowly release that and bring your hands back down by your side. Uncross your right leg if you were crossing it like me. And then you can go back to the center and walk your hips slowly back into the middle. Very gently, as this can pull a bit. Now we're just gonna take a second to grab our knees into our chest. Stretch our lower back. And you can bring it back down. Now we're gonna do the other side. So lift your hips up and towards the left. Walk your feet slowly towards the right. You can cross your left leg over the right one for a deeper stretch. And grab into your elbows over your head. Now you can release your elbows, bring them by your hands by your side again, and cross your legs if they were crossed. And slowly bring back your body to center. Now once again, we're gonna hug both of our knees into our chest. Provide a good release and stretch of the low back. And we're going to set ourselves up for our last asana before savasana. So from here, we're going to go into the happy baby position. So for the happy baby, you want to try to keep your low back flat on the ground. And you want to grab either your big toes on both sides or the outside of your leg, of your foot, and you're gonna pull down without using much force. You're just using your arms to brace yourself. And this should offer a good stretch into your inner groin. So we're gonna hold this for 5 minutes. Now you can really slowly your feet, and come back down very slowly. Now we're going to set ourselves up for savasana. So for savasana, I'd like to offer you 2 asanas. The traditional one that Miriam's going to do, which is basically just lying down with your feet as wide as comfortable and your hands by your side. But I'm going to do a modified version where I'm going to use a block. And this is one that I discovered that I really like. And I'm going to place it right under my low back. So I'm basically going to do the same position as Miriam, but with a block on my low back. And this offers a gentle stretch in the spine and the front of the hips. So we're going to stay here for our last 8 minutes. So I want you to take this time to thank yourself for taking the time to do this routine with us today, and to really notice how your body feels compared to when you started an hour ago. Now, if you were doing the modified version like I am, just bring your feet flat on the ground and you're going to lift your hips up and take the block out of the way. Go back down. Now, I'd like to invite you to roll on your side and come to a seated position. We're going to take the lotus position like we did in the beginning. So if you're flexible like Miriam, you can take your right foot and bring it on top of your left leg, and take your left foot and bring it on top of your right. But if you can't, like myself, just having one leg in front of the other like this will do just fine. So bring your hands together in front of your heart. Close your eyes, and for this last minute, we're gonna do 3 sound, so just follow me. Inhale, exhale, Inhale, exhale, Inhale. Now you can open your eyes. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to take care of your health and joining us on this practice today. I wish you a day filled with love, peace, and joy. Bring your hands together. Namaste.